everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Allison, and today we are going to have fun with the May 2023 Small Die of the Month from Spellbinders. This is one of my favorite club kits to date. This is the Flyby Greetings set. There are 13 dies in this kit, and half the dies create the most adorable little airplane, and the other dies create banners with 3 different sentiments, and then there are a couple clouds. So here is the first card that we are going to make today. Now off screen I have die cut all the pieces from colored cardstock, and this is the main body of the airplane, and you can see there's this little sliver piece that I have in yellow. Now what I had done is I had cut a yellow plane out, and you'll see that yellow plane later, and I'll use the little pink sliver for that yellow plane. But for now, I'm just taping that little sliver into place. And I'm going to start attaching all the pieces. Now this is super easy to put together. And again, I think I've mentioned this before. If you ever have doubts as to how some of these pieces go together, obviously you can watch people like me, but always go to the Spellbinders website. There are the Spellbinders YouTube channel as well. Yana does an amazing job putting together all of these kits. So that's always a good place to watch. But it really goes together pretty easily. Now, obviously, some of these pieces are really small, so a reverse tweezers is your best friend. All right, so putting the 2 pieces of the plane together. Oh, first we're gonna put little pieces. Now, these little parts, I could have used metallic cardstock to make them look like metal, but I chose to just use matte colored, plain cardstock. But here I'm going to show you, there's like a little mark that the die makes that shows you where the wing should attach to the front. So there are markings on their dies that just make it really easy to put things together, and I do really appreciate that. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of just getting those wings where I want them, and then I'm going to put glue on that little part that I had shown, and then I'll just fit it all together before I glued on the other parts. This plane was so fun to put together. You can do a monotone plane, you can do super colorful plane like I'm making, you can do your favorite colors, you can customize it for whoever you're making a card for. There's so many combinations to make this plane. And here I'm putting the tires. Now you will see that everybody assembles these tires differently, which I think is fun, because you should make your airplane the way you want to make your airplane. And there are elements to this plane that you can definitely change. And I think that's fun. I don't think everybody's plane should look the same. You'll see on my last card, which was actually the first card I put together, I was so obsessed with how to put the tires together. It was kind of ridiculous. Like, well, one of the wheels is on the other side of the plane, so really you should see the back of the wheel. These are the weird things that keep me up at night. Okay, so we have basically a side folding A2 card that I scored the front flap at 2 1/4, and this creates what's known as a Z-fold. And you can rewind and look at those measurements again, but again, it's just an A2 side folding card, and then you score the front flap. All right, this cloud I created using the color block Cloudscape. And I'm just showing you how I created this. And I made it the width of my card, so it's 5.5 inches wide. Now this set really inspired me to pull out all of my, cloud dies. We all have cloud dies, right? I mean, you can never have too many cloud dies. And even though the kit comes with little clouds, I thought it would be fun to incorporate other cloud elements that I have in my stash. So what I'm doing is I'm just gluing it to the top of that flap. And then I'm just cutting the excess off the side. So part of it is hanging off the flap. And before I do anything else, before I forget, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Now you might have seen my video from yesterday where I featured the 3D embossing folder of the month. I used this same set, the It's Party Time stamp set from Spellbinders. I love this set. And I'm just going to stamp with black ink. I'm not embossing or anything. I'm just going to stamp it. And here I guess I had turned my camera off, but I adhered the plane to the cloud, and you can see it's hanging off the bottom of the cloud. There, you can see that. Now, one thing about that cloud that I wish I had done differently, for some reason I grabbed the piece of paper in front of me and it was 80-pound cardstock. I would have done this in 110-pound cardstock. It's not that it needs more stability, it just is a little bit thinner than I would have liked. But there you had just seen me kind of showing you the mechanism of the Z-fold. And now I'm attaching some clouds. These are the cloud dies from the actual monthly club kit. I'm going to have one hanging off the top. And now I'm going to attach some on the inside. So when you open up the card, there will be more clouds to fill the scene. And this was honestly the most fun card I've made in a while. I can't remember the last time I made a Z-fold card, first of all, but I just think this airplane with these clouds and then that sentiment is just so cute. And I think it would really cheer somebody up to get this card. Now, a lot of the cards and the sentiments for this month's clubs, they're celebratory. They're birthday or hip hip hooray, things like that. So, that doesn't mean that you can't use other sentiments. Now here I'm adding smoke in the form of little hearts. I thought that was kind of a cute idea. And I find hearts in the most random of places. So these hearts came from this pie set. And I love that about Spellbinders. They'll have a die set and they'll just have hearts or stars or whatever. So go through your die sets from Spellbinders and you'll find little dies that will just give you finishing touches for your cards. And here I'm just adding a couple more hearts on the inside. And that's the finished card. Look how cute that is. Oh, and I also added a heart to the actual plane. So when somebody lifts it up, they see that sentiment, and how cute is that? I'm really happy with how it turned out. So here is the finished card. And I love the bright colors. Okay, so for our next card, I'm going to use the banners. And I'm just showing you how you line up the sentiment part of it, which is the middle, with the outline part. It's really easy to line those up. And there are 3 sentiments. There is hip hip hooray, there's you did it, and there's happy birthday. And I'm just showing you, I die cut this a couple times to get all the pieces of those letters out. And I just use my craft pick to get all the pieces out. And that way the cardstock behind the sentiment really shows through. But you can just die cut it once and kind of kind of an embossed look where the letters don't pop out. They just kind of look raised. Now there are lines on those little pieces for the banner that again show you how to line things up. Kind of like the airplane, there's little lines so you know exactly how to line this, the little ribbons on the banner. And the same for this little string. It attaches to the two little circles at the end of the ribbon. So here's my plan for this card. I made it pretty monotone. I used 2 colors of blue and then just black and white to finish the details. And again, I pulled out another cloud product. This is the Head in the Clouds embossing folder, and I just inked up the panel with some pink ink. And here I'm adding some thin foam squares to the back of the banner and to the back of the plane, and I'm just going to figure out where I want all my elements. And then I will start with the clouds. There are a couple clouds that I'll pop up on foam tape, and then I'll just glue the one behind the plane. So I'm going to start with adhering the banner, and then I'm actually just going to glue the end of that string down to the card base. All right, I'm finishing the card with these gems from Spellbinders, and that was a really easy card. Now this is kind of the intended design. You'll see a lot of cards that look like this. This was kind of the idea behind the club kit. But here you see kind of a different idea. I have the banner flying behind the plane. So I used string to attach my plane to that banner. And I don't have the other pieces to the banner, that kind of the little ribbons that hang off. And I love making slimline cards. I know not everybody does, but oh, I think I'm pausing the video here so you can see my tires. This is the one where I put one tire behind and one tire in front, because again, I obsess about weird things like this. So there are all my cards with the small die of the month. I love them all. I think they're adorable, and I cannot stop making airplanes. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I hope that you'll give me a like and maybe even a subscribe. I really appreciate you joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.